These little seedlings are 3 weeks old and it's time to transplant them. Before we start transplanting them, there's one super important question that I have to answer. Where are they going next? Well, for me, the plan is to move my seedlings into our raised bed in our backyard at home. But I've got one little problem. I'm about 4 to 5 weeks too early from being able to put these seedlings outside and not have them die because it's too cold. So I need to choose an intermediate pot and soil type that will do a great job of letting them continue to grow and thrive without becoming root bound or running out of food, but also isn't so large that they're going to retain too much moisture and potentially get root rot. So come with me, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do. Let me really quickly tell you guys, I've got sweet peppers in the first 2 rows. I've got cucumbers in the next 2 rows, and I've got cherry tomatoes in the last 2 rows here. As painful as it is, it's always great to call out when mistakes have been made. And if you're seeing close-ups of these plants, you can see we made a few mistakes. The first thing I notice is the sweet peppers are looking great. The cucumbers are already becoming nutrient deficient. Not a big surprise. These are big leafy seedlings that need lots of food, and they're just in these tiny little cells and they've run out of food. So they're ready to be transplanted, but I'm a little bit late. That's why you're seeing that yellowing in there. The second mistake that you'll see I made is that some of these seeds don't have any seedlings in them. Now, I'd like to pretend it's because I didn't put any seedlings in there, but that's not the case. What I actually did is when I used a heat mat, I unfortunately allowed the center of the seedling tray to dry out, which caused some of my seedlings not to germinate, and I just didn't catch it in time. You know, like everybody, sometimes life gets in the way and it knocks you down a rung. I'm gonna just go ahead and gently pop out my seedlings. The whole key here is you wanna be as delicate as possible with the little roots that have taken, because that is kind of the life force. So the big thing when removing your seedlings is you want to be very gentle with these little roots. I don't ever pull from kind of the stem or stalk here, especially when you have a heavy soil. You can imagine it wouldn't be that hard to pull this top here and have this kind of clump get stuck below, and you'll rip that right off, and you're kind of out of luck if that happens. So you want to scoop it out and get as much as the root matter as you can. Okay, I'm going to just lay it gently here, and then I'm going to get my pot ready. This is a 1-gallon pot, and you may be thinking, Mandy, that is huge. But as I mentioned before, that's why you always ask yourself first, where am I going with these? I know I need 4 to 5 more weeks of growing in this pot. And so really, I want to make sure that all of these plants have plenty of food and plenty of moisture so that I don't have to transplant them again before they go to my raised bed. So yes, it looks big, but I'm going to do it. So to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in. This is a soil we make ourselves, but it's really just a premium potting mix. And then we've added biochar, which is a really awesome addition for both porosity of the soil, but also it acts as moisture retention and provides nutrient availability. And so that's in there. And then there's also some additional cocoa in here as well. All right, so I'm gonna fill this up. And I want to, because my plant is so small, I can fill it almost to the top. I don't ever pack down the soil. I want it to be really easy for these super fragile little roots to poke through. So no need to pack anything in. Boop. And then I'm going to just make a little hole at the top here. This is going to be so easy peasy. And then I'll just place this in the center, hold it, and then I just lightly kind of push the soil in and around that little ball. And then I'm going to add some more soil to the top. And this is the only time I kind of pack a little bit just for stability, just to make sure it's standing up on its own so that when it waters, it doesn't, whoops, it doesn't tip over. And there you have it. My last step is I'm going to mist them. And you are probably thinking, why is your water black? I've added a microbe feed to this water. It's a 1 teaspoon per gallon. So there's a 1/4 teaspoon in this 1/4 gallon sprayer, a 32-ounce sprayer. And microbe feeds are amazing. Beneficial microbes help plants to break down the food that's in the soil so that they get more nutrient availability and better nutrient uptake. In addition, microbes are incredible. They help with drought tolerance and disease resistance. So like, you just can't beat them. And especially when you've got little fragile plants like this, it's awesome. So I just have my water in here and I added my 1/4 teaspoon of microbe feed. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and spritz kind of the soil. And it's also okay, I'm gonna make this more of a misty, whoops. There we go. I'm also, it's okay to spray the leaves. It's actually really helpful to spray the leaves. So I'm gonna do that too. One other thing that I want to add about this soil is that I pre-moistened it. So if you look at it, it looks really dark and it's because it's already wet. And the reason I did that is so that there's immediate moisture availability that's evenly placed throughout this pot for the plant, and so that when I add water, it soaks up really nice and doesn't just run through to the bottom. So 1 down, 71 more to go. And then I'll go ahead and get these all underneath some lights. Okay, so the last thing you're gonna do is just put your newly transplanted seedlings into an area that has the same or more light than they had before. So I'm actually gonna place this right back underneath the light that it was. So this is obviously too close now for this seedling, now that it's in a much taller pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and raise this light up so that we don't burn the leaves. If you are putting your plants under a much stronger light source, you're gonna wanna harden them off. And if you've heard of that term, hardening off is when you allow the plant to build up the cuticle layer on its leaf, which helps protect it from sunburn. It's absolutely amazing. It's like its own UV protection. But basically, every time you expose them to this stronger light, those cuticles get a little bit thicker. So if you are gonna put them under a much stronger light, you won't wanna just immediately put them under. You'll wanna give them some time under the light and then a break and then more time under the light until they're ready for that full-on light that you have. And if you wanna see some tips and tricks on how to harden your plants when you're bringing them out inside to outside, we did an awesome video on that as well. I think this is it, other than I have 71 more plants to do. Thank you so much for joining us. For more tips on how to grow life where you live, be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody.